All right, so sixth graders, let's look at what happens when we start estimating sums and differences. So let's just look at a problem like 7/8 plus 5/11. If you go back to the idea of benchmarks, that's what we're going to use. So all we're going to do is we're going to take each of those numbers and go, is it closer to having none, half, or all? So in this case, 7/8 is pretty close to 1 because it's just missing one piece. I'm just going to say that that's 1. 5/11 is pretty close to half, it's just a little bit less. So 1 plus a half, we would say that our answer should be pretty close to 1.5. If you think about our number line, though, of like 0, 1/2, 1, 1.5, and 2, and we start thinking ranges, then we have, this is where it gets a little bit tougher and you actually have a better understanding of what fractions look like. So 7/8 is actually less than 1, and 5/11 is less than half. So while our answer is going to be close to 1.5, both of these numbers were rounded up because 1 is bigger than 7/8, so 1/2 is bigger than 5/11. So if we were to place an x, it's actually going to be between 1 and 1.5, because 1.5 would have been our high estimate. So let's look at another one. What if I had 2 and 1/10, and I'm taking away 1 and 4/9. So on this problem, 2 and 1/10, that's pretty close to having 2. 1 and 4/9, well, we know we have 1, and 4/9 is pretty close to half, so I'm taking away 1.5. Now what we can do is we can actually decompose our problem. I'm going to do my whole numbers first. So I'm going to do 2 minus 1, and I get 1. So now I have a whole, and I'm going to take away the half, which would leave me with about 1/2 left. Now if we're talking answer ranges, is it more than a half or less than a half? Well, 1/10 is more than 2, and 4/9 is a little bit less than a half. So this one's going to be pretty darn close to 1/2. And so if we had to choose a range, we could actually go either way on this one. But because our 4/9 is actually closer to the half, because it's only like 0.5 away, I would say that we're taking away a little bit more than we have here. So we'd probably actually be a little bit less than a half, but it's going to be pretty close. But just that idea, even if you can just get to that 1/2 point, we're at a good spot. So let's just do one more example. So if I have 3 and 7/9, and I'm adding 4 and 5/11. So 7 out of 9 is pretty close to being 1, which would make this 3 plus 1, or 4. 5/11 is about half, so then this is going to become 4.5. And now, like I said, the nice thing about using those benchmarks is we have numbers that are much easier to add, just to get a quick idea of what our answer should be. So 4 plus 4 would be 8. We have 1/2 plus 0, so our estimate of an answer should be that we are close to 8.5. So remember, we're just doing this to get a basic idea of where our answer should be, so once we start moving to addition and subtraction, we have a better idea when our answers make sense compared to when they don't make sense, because a lot of us still have misconceptions about what we do when we add fractions, and we want to be able to use that estimate and those benchmarks to say, well, does this answer that I found actually make sense in this situation?